time, law is just the codification of those principles. Now, if we get to the importance of moot court competition in a university, I would say moot court is in no way a replacement to the studies of a law school. You should never do that. You should never over invest in a moot court competition, or you should never over invest yourself in mooting in law school. It's a co-curricular activity. And by a co-curricular activity, what do I mean? I mean that it's there to supplement your legal education, not to replace your legal education. Your legal education, while in a law school, happens only in the classroom. Not only in the classroom, but majorly in the classroom. At a given time, of course, when the class is in session, it is 100% happening through the classroom only. And therefore, this mooting is a supplement to the legal to the understanding of the law you are getting from the classroom studies. Now, one more thing I have to say: how many of you are genuinely interested in mooting? Genuinely interested in mooting, because considering that you have attended this webinar, I would say most of you should be. Yeah, so I mean, I would say most of you are interested in mooting. That's great. See, an interest in mooting, an interest in the simulation of a courtroom, can very well fructify into an interest in the very profession of litigation. And in my opinion, if I would like to, express some personal opinion, law schools in this country today shouldn't become. I mean, if they are becoming a factory for quote unquote corporate lawyers. You should take risk, you should simply risk your career. You shouldn't take the easy way out. If that's the reason you are choosing corporate law or in-house counsel or a government job for that matter, or judiciary for that matter, you should genuinely follow what you genuinely want to follow. And if you are actually interested in litigation, you should certainly pursue litigation. You should certainly try to pursue litigation after your college. Because having genuine interest, there are two things that are required for success. One, genuine interest in that field. Second is competence. Of course, that's the hard reality. If you do not have Indian Idol, everyone sees lots of people who are interested in singing, but not most of them are very competent in singing. You also have to choose an interest in which you are competent at. Okay, but see, competency can be developed. Hard work is the fuel. If you do hard work, you will become competent. That's not an issue. So yeah, it's a very good thing. Mooting is also a gateway to choosing litigation as a profession, as it was for me. I mean, of course, when I entered the profession, when I entered law school, I totally was not aware what would I do after my law school. And after mooting, it made me realize, yeah, I mean, litigation can be a good profession, because I never thought of joining corporate law. The reason was not because corporate law was the mainstream thing and I did not want to follow the mainstream thing. It's because of the very process of mooting, the very process that making an argument, standing up for a cause or not standing up for a cause. That's also an important thing. Basically, trying to say that if a certain thing has been done, that's wrong. Person has to be punished. Basically, having a spine. That's the lawyer's job. The lawyer's job is to have a spine in the court of law and stand up for something. Stand up for something that maybe people are not willing to stand up for. Now, I have divided this thing into some topics. I will go in each. In fact, once the topic ends, I'll answer your queries also. Should a 3-year program student of law advise to participate in mooting actively or not? Most certainly. People have mooted while in their LLMs as well. There's absolutely no, people have done LLM because of the fact that they wanted to moot more. All right, so that's not an issue. Absolutely, Ashutosh. And the next question is, but isn't the second or above generation lawyers are more privileged than the new ones? What are the struggles for the new generation lawyer and how to cope up from that struggle? See, I will be very honest. These are the questions. These are the raw questions I was actually looking for. Because mooting and everything, you learn. That's not an issue. You need to understand how to navigate through the life. If anything has been achieved by any person who has had made big in his or her life, it is because of the struggles. Take the example of our Prime Minister. It's not a political thing. Let's not be political for a while. Let's just understand his career from a very professional and third party perspective. The guy came from an extremely underprivileged background, hopeless. No one cares about the poor people in our country. It's a hard reality. He made it big for himself. Why? Was he privileged? No, he persevered. He did hard work. And that's the deal. If you do hard, see, once you work as hard as you can for an objective you are determined at, results do not matter. It doesn't matter whether you succeed or not. Your process of working hard is itself a success. Mooting helps in litigation. See, the profession of law at the end of the day, now in the 21st century and everything, the workplace has diversified a lot. I would say in-house counsels have a very big role to play in both the public and private sector. Mooting is essentially a process through which you create an argument. You create an argument, or you sift out the irrelevant from the relevant. So therefore, that is a very important thing. That is an extremely important thing, and that's required for every professional, be it legal or be it let's say a non-legal profession. Thinking logically is something that is required for each and every profession. It's not an issue. So mooting, of course, can help in each and everything. It's not like if you are good at mooting, you have to become a lawyer. You can do anything. You just have to become a competent professional, and you have to choose the profession you are interested in and competent at. Now, I will answer the other questions. Just like the company secretary question Ansh has asked, it can help a company secretary aspirant as well. See, I'll be very honest, I'm not entirely sure of what work does a company secretary entail. It's more of compliance, less of dispute resolution as far as my understanding goes. And moot is about where there is a dispute. Litigation is about where there is a dispute. So, but I'm pretty sure, see, disputes can be prevented if compliances are there in proper order. And if the compliance guy knows what disputes will arise and how the disputes will arise, he can of course prevent disputes. And of course, a company secretary will also be very well equipped in that manner. Now, uh, so the next topic which I will be talking about is understanding the moot problem. Now, I would have ideally preferred this topic to be discussed, with a live demonstration of a moot problem. But at this moment, it is not possible. Let us simply take an example. Achha, how many of you have mooted in the past? How many of you have mooted? There are some people who are waiting in the lobby. Okay, if you haven't mooted in the past, it's fine. Can anyone tell me on the chat box if who has actually participated in a moot court competition or is planning to participate in a moot court competition? Or you can unmute as well, please. I mean, it's not an issue at all. So Pranjal has his moot on 4th of October. Right, I'm just taking an example. Each of you is also planning to moot. So while you read a moot problem, when you read a moot problem, you might, get a bit intimidated, or you might get, a bit nervous that, oh my God, what will I do about it? What do I do about it? And how do we go about it? I think that's a very natural feeling to have. It's very obvious that each and every person would have such a feeling when you are, doing it the first time. It's not a problem. The main issue which you have to tackle is, first you have to break down that moot problem para by para, sentence by sentence. You have to break it down into sentences. You have to know each and every sentence of that moot problem. And by that, I mean you have to master the facts of that moot problem. Each and every fact should be known, and most importantly, you should be able to sift out the irrelevant from the relevant facts. And how will you determine that what is relevant and what is not relevant? You will determine by basically focusing on the legal issues that are involved in the. Is someone trying to say anything? Is anyone trying to say anything? All right. So first you have to focus on the facts and then on the legal issues. While you restrict yourself on the legal issues through that lens, then you have to read the facts again, read the facts 5 times, 6 times at least. See, one of the cheat code I have personally, I would say, is preparing the statement of facts as soon as you get the moot problem. In a moot memorial, you will always have to make a statement of facts. Generally, that's the formatting that used to exist in my time, at least in 2016, 17, 18. At that time, you have to prepare a statement of facts. Prepare a statement of facts immediately after reading the moot problem. If you can summarize a 5-page or an 11-page moot problem into 2 pages or less than 2 pages, that should be your criteria. Less than 2 pages, preferably a page. Then you actually know the case. See, I would tell you, in litigation, there are files. We don't get moot problems of 11 pages. Lawyers don't get, judges don't get moot problems or case documents of 2 pages. They get case documents of 1200 pages. In arbitrations, you might be 12,000 pages. In a plain Jane writ petition, it might be 300, 400 pages. It's a detailed document. There are detailed documents that are involved. The art of being a good lawyer is summarizing the case in the shortest in 1 to 2 pages, not 1 to 2 pages, if not in the shortest possible manner. That's the art of a good lawyer, because you have to sift out the relevant from the irrelevant. That's the most important thing while you are understanding the facts of a case. Now, the next step would be, once you have identified the legal issues that are arising in the moot problem, you have to, of course, identify the domain of law. For example, a friend of mine had drafted a moot problem recently. I had read that moot problem. It was a very interesting moot problem. It was on this issue which had arisen in Andhra Pradesh. Their former chief minister was arrested. It was a Prevention of Corruption Act case. And the moot problem was also simulated on on that premise as well, on that legal premise as well. There were similar issues that are arising, and that litigation is also pending before the Supreme Court and everything. So, coming to the relevant issue, if let's say the moot problem is on Prevention of Corruption Act, it is of course on the domain of criminal law. You can't read the whole criminal law in one day. No one can read the whole criminal law. Satyam, I'll definitely share my notes. I am so sorry that I don't have a PPT right now. Okay, but I'll definitely share notes with you guys. Okay, if I'm not making sense, please make me stop and ask questions. Please unmute yourself and ask questions. I'm under the assumption that I'm making sense. If I'm not, please correct me. Okay. So coming to the, is there a voice problem? Okay. So yeah, you can't read the whole criminal law in one day. Prevention of Corruption Act is of course the subject which is coming under the domain of criminal law. But what you can do is read the Prevention of Corruption Act. I'm just giving you an example. If there is a legislation, if there is a domain in which your moot problem is, and if there is a legislation on that domain, you can take the Bare Act. You can take a printout from your library and you can read the Bare Act from tip to toe, everything. You can definitely do that. There is absolutely, I do not think so. See, Indian legislations are not that heavy. Prevention of Corruption Act is barely an 11 or 17 page document. You should read it at least twice and thrice. Then you will understand the whole framework, the legislative framework which the courts refer. That what does the lawmaker want while enacting this legislation? Now, once you have read, and of course, after doing that, for example, that issue, if I would, write out of my mind, if I were to make a moot problem, or let's say a fictional moot problem, just to discuss for the purpose of this webinar, I would say there is an offence in the Prevention of Corruption Act called disproportionate assets. It's an offence under section 13(1)(b) of the Prevention Corruption Act. Now, basically the offence is that if a public servant, now you have to be aware prevention of corruption only applies if you were a government servant or are a government servant. And therefore, the offence is that if you have amassed assets meaning, of course, I think each and every one of us who's from commerce background at least would be aware of what is the meaning of an asset. Even from a science background, asset is simply a thing which has value, that will give you a financial value if you sell it off. If you have amassed assets more than your income, then you will be liable for being convicted under that provision, if I were to say in a very simple language. Now, if you get a moot problem on, let's say, see, real case laws are also taken for moots and hypothetical situations are also made. We'll get to that. I think it was Komal or some other user. So if, let's say, the topic is on Prevention of Corruption Act and more specifically it's on disproportionate assets, then what you must do is you must go to Manupatra or whatever search engine you are using. I'm not trying to say that. Or of course, the old school way of doing it is going to the legislation, reading section 13(1)(b), reading it twice, thrice, and 4 times, and then finding a good commentary. If you have a library, if your college has a good library, it must have a book on the Prevention of Corruption Act. If it doesn't have, ask your librarian to get a good book on Prevention of Corruption Act. If you don't have, I'm pretty sure Manupatra has a system. Does it have a system in which you can put in the section and the judgments of that section will come? So most of the search engines, including Manupatra, has this system. If I were to make a very thorough preparation of my moot court on the issue of on the issue of disproportionate assets, I would read each and every judgment of the Supreme Court from 1950 to 2024 on the issue of disproportionate assets. Each and every judgment, guys. I'm saying so because there is absolutely nothing that can be more helpful to you than knowing and mastering the law. Facts will be there in the moot problem. As a lawyer, you must be very, very, very well aware of the law. Two things which you must be having is, one, of course, command over the law or means to ascertain the law, and second, a rational brain, thinking objectively, not looking at things from a prejudicial mindset, not looking at things through a bias. That's what a lawyer is supposed to do. Now, of course, when you will read all the judgments of this is something, of course, I'm not saying each and every time you can do this. Depending on time considerations and time management, we'll get to that as well. You should do that, but I wouldn't say that this job should take more than 3 days. And by 3 days, it's basically a 12 to 15 hours job. And it depends on how you want to invest it. If you want to go and complete it in 2 days, you can do that as well. 1 day may be more difficult, of course. And everything, language fluency, we'll get to that, Ashosh. That's the next topic. That's why we'll get to that later. Now, once you have done the general reading of the domain of law, that topic, let's say the disproportionate assets, then you have to enter into the facts of the case. For example, now this gets interesting as well. The reason it gets interesting is that sometimes in the moot court, it's not only the law which helps you win the moot or helps you score well in the moot. It's not about winning or losing. It's about doing your best. Help you score better marks in the moot court competition. If it's an issue, I can speak in Hindi as well. I mean, yeah, I'll use both the language. I'll definitely use both the language, Abhi. So, are any of you having an issue with Hindi? If there are any people who are not aware of Hindi, then I would genuinely prefer. I mean, I'm fine with English as a language. If people have, if there are people who are having issue with Hindi, then certainly can't happen. Anyways, focusing on the issue, after you have done the general reading, you can focus. You must focus on the facts of your case. Find out what is clear from the facts. Find out what is not clear from the facts. And once once you have clarity over the things that these are the facts which are, there is absolutely no ambiguity about it, put out the clarifications to the moot court committee, to the respective moot court committee for understanding that what are the facts that are missing, or if they could shed some more light, because sometimes clarifications can move the moot problem from one end to other. Of course, every moot problem is biased in the sense, I'm sorry, not biased, it's never a 50-50 game, you understand? It's always a 49-51 or a 70-30 or a 20-80 game. From the appellant side you would be strong, or from the respondent side you would be strong. There can be those cases. So, and it doesn't affect on the markings as well. Don't worry about that. Just because you got the appellant side doesn't mean you can't score well. You can put out your best effort. Good moot problems are designed in a way that no counsel is prejudiced, because at the end of the day, this is an academic exercise. Student must get to learn. That's the objective. So yeah, after doing the general reading, base it on the facts, base it on the very peculiar facts of that case. Try to find case law on that. If there is a specific thing in that moot problem which you think that must be highlighted by the court, must be highlighted to the court, or has been judicially opined upon by courts of law, then you should find it through search engines. There are so many search engines. Manupatra is also there. There are, apart from search engines, you should also use commentary and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the deal. Apart from that, let's move to the next topic. Now, drafting the memorial. Once you have done the research, drafting the memorial is the most, I believe it's the cornerstone of a good mooter. You must know how to draft a good memorial. And what is a memorial? Memorial is just a document, which a moot court team presents, in which they have their arguments on the case from one side or the other, and sometimes, of course, both through separate memorials. But what essentially is a memorial, if we put an analogy to that in a real courtroom situation, a memorial would be a pleading. Are you guys aware what is a pleading? I wouldn't expect it if you are in the first year. So pleading is basically, so pleading, petition, that's the correct answer. A petition is also a pleading. If I were to draw a Venn diagram, I would say, wait a second. Everything that you present before a court of law on an affidavit is a pleading. What is an affidavit? An affidavit is a sworn statement. Of course, I understand you joined law school 2 months ago. No way you guys are knowing that. Of course, don't worry about that. I didn't know it even after finishing law school. Okay, don't worry about that. Research on that. Of course, if you don't, yes, it's a self-declaration. It's a self-declaration that whatever I'm saying that before a court of law, and it is the whole truth according to me. And of course, if you lie on an affidavit, it has consequences. Perjury is a consequence. Perjury is basically lying to the court of law. It's a criminal offense in this country and in many countries as well. It's a great thing that you guys are joining this this webinar only 15 days after law school and everything. I genuinely feel, I genuinely feel very honored, because we have had the honor of being taught moot court about moot courts by a very competent set of professionals. Each and every one of them is very highly placed and very, some are in Oxford and some are in so and so. So, I genuinely feel very honored that because this is the very foundational step of learning we are going to have in this session. Yeah, so pleading would basically be from a petition to a counter affidavit. For example, you file a writ petition before a court, before a high court or before a Supreme Court. That would be a pleading. Counter affidavit, which is the reply. Of course, you are going to make a petition. You have to plead a party to that petition, that I have to sue this person. That person will file a counter affidavit. That will also be a pleading. So these are the pleadings. So the memorial is basically, it can be analogized on the basis that it's a pleading of a moot court, and it's very settled principle of law that you can only argue what you have pleaded in your pleading. You cannot go beyond that, and therefore you cannot, being in a moot court also, technically you shouldn't be allowed to go beyond what you have argued in your moot memorial. So speaking in terms of those people who are a bit lazy, who think let's see oral round से पहले हम लोग देख लेंगे, बहुत लोग होते हैं ऐसे. You cannot argue, you shouldn't be technically allowed to argue anything which you have not pleaded properly in your memorial. And of course, that's apart from the fact that memorials are assessed separately. You have marked on your memorials separately. And it's not simply about marking. See, if you can read, write, and speak as well in a good manner, then you can generally exceed, you can, excel in any field, in any profession in this country. You have to know how to read, you have to know how to write well, you have to know how to speak well. You can succeed in any profession. That's the fundamental thing. And memorial is about writing and writing well. Now, the very first part of a memorial would be 360-degree case legal research. While legal research, you have to exhaust all possible sources, all possible avenues of research. It can range from simple statute key research, reading of the statute. It can entail case law research, of course. It can entail reading from commentaries. It can entail reading from blogs. I remember a very good moot which I did of my law school was DM Harish. And the way which we found one of the most critically important points in one of the issues was through a blog, was not through some commentary, because of course moot problems are based on topical issues. Topical issues यानी जो अभी आम बोलचाल में इस समय चल रहा हो. For example, जैसे as of now, which controversy is set to, for example, the unfortunate incident that happened in Kolkata. That can also be a moot court competition. These are the premises on which moot court problems are set, generally. So, of course, legal research is the foundation of a good memorial. And the second thing, the building, is basically how you frame your arguments. For that, I'll have to explain, that's how we have been explained in our time. By using the IRAC method. By IRAC, I mean issue, rule, analysis, and conclusion. Now, for the uninitiated, you have to frame your issues and arguments in this manner that in the very first paragraph or the very first line, you will have to set out what is the issue before the Honorable Court. Issue is very specific. It has to be something that is disputed by the two parties. That is disputed between the parties. It can be a legal issue as well. For example, the ultra vires of an act. Ultra vires matlab constitutional validity of an act. And see, I'm totally up for speaking in Hindi. That's not a problem at all. But I was totally not informed about that. Had it been the case, I would have only spoken in Hindi. बिल्कुल भी ऐसा नहीं है, तो it's very difficult for me to switch languages बीच में. And it's unfair for those also who are learning it in who, just in case if there's someone from South India, they might not be aware of Hindi. So what's an issue? Issue is basically the dispute between the parties. You have to write the issue, then you have to write the rule. What's the rule? What's the law? If there is any law. Of course, there can be cases when there is no law or there is no direct law on this very specific situation. Okay. After that, you have to put in the analysis. Analysis would be, of course, your analysis of what is justice, of who did what wrong or who did what right. That's the simple thing. And conclusion, of course, would be whether this issue has to be decided in A's favor or in B's favor. It's as simple as that. Each and every lawyer's argument should be as if a judge is trying to argue a case. Shouldn't be simply, that's the difference between a lawyer and a person who is facing that ordeal. He has to rationalize, he has to view it from an objective sense and then say that, no, my client is right. Right. We will cover, I'll promise you each and every one, I'll cover each and every comment, each and every question that is coming in the comment section. I'll cover each of them. Now, one cheat which I can give you is cheat in the sense, one thing I can also tell is how to prepare a skeleton. you should be preparing a skeleton note while you are, having, let's say, for example, if there is an issue, there is a big issue of disproportionality of assets. I would have explained through the statute and everything in each and every issue. Once you do the moot and once you start legal researching and once you start running the brain, you understand. Issue में भी sub issues होते हैं. You have to break them down into A, B, C. मतलब for example, Roman 1 issue है ये, क्या ये सही हुआ, or whether this is correct or not, whether he was validly invoking or validly revoking your passport, let's say. Issue 1, this issue, sorry, sub issue 1, this sub issue 2, this sub issue 3, this, and and so on and forth. So this gives a very good skeleton to your argument. This gives a good skeleton, and once you have, a skeleton, once you have points set across, bullet points or whatever points, Roman numerals as well, it is very clear that you are trying to make a very organized effort into what you are arguing. That's the most important point. And therefore, a skeleton note for arguments is very important. I'm not saying it for a formatting perspective or any other perspective, only for you to understand what has to be there. How do you have to go about the case? And of course, once the skeleton note is ready, you have to fill it in with the flesh. The flesh is the drafting. You have to use the good language, and I cannot stress it enough. As of now, in this country, English is the mode through which is the language through which courts of law in Delhi and in, let's say, metropolitan cities communicate. I come from Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. Of course, I went to an English medium school. I had the fortune of being privileged enough, but I never, of course, talked in English to my parents. Of course, I never prefer talking to English to my friends as well. But this is just let's say, as a result of the colonial legacy we have, that you have to use English. Naman is also from Kanpur. It's very nice to know that people are from UP as well. So yeah, you have to learn English. There is no excuse. See, don't ever make an excuse if you have an objective in mind, and if there are obstacles in that, never make excuses out of those obstacles. Never do that. Either you don't want that thing enough, or either you don't want that thing enough, or you are just not just fearful. That's the deal. If you genuinely want something in life, there shouldn't be anything called obstacles or excuses for that matter. Now the next topic should be drafting. See, all these things cannot be covered in an hour session. There are ample resources available on the internet, on the YouTube, on legal drafting. There are American law colleges, American law universities, some of the excellent law universities of this country, which have, in a very brief manner, they have explained how to draft well. So you have to learn from there as well. You must learn from there as well. Generally, you should always, write an active voice. You should be, of course, editing your own article. After reading it, you must read what you have written. Then it should make sense. झंझट नहीं है कि बस काम करके छोड़ दो. ऐसे नहीं करना है. अच्छे से, you have to do it. You have to put every fiber of your being. Then let's come to oral advocacy. I have taken most of my time, and I'm still an oral advocacy. I have a good amount of topics left, but still, oral advocacy सबसे important है in today's world. Of course, not more important than the pleading, equally important, but not more important. You guys are living in an age where you can simply log in and watch legends like Mr. Kapil Sibal, legends like Mr. Mukul Rohtgi, legends like Mr. Tushar Mehta, legends like Mr. Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi arguing before the Supreme Court. You have the privilege. I never had that privilege. Of course, I have a privilege of watching them as a counsel. I can log in right now, and of course can visit the court as well. But you guys have the privilege of doing that while you are in your law school, while you are in your vacations, while you are just chilling out in your hometowns. You have the privilege of doing that because of the live streaming thing, because of the VC enabled court hearings. just see what are court etiquettes. Just see how enthusiastic, how learned, and how influential these individuals are. You can watch them on YouTube as well. Of course, you can watch them on YouTube. You can watch them. You can see that live streaming. You can visit the courtroom links as well. I mean, in the High Court of Delhi, you can. The cause list contains most of the VC links. You should look for good high courts of the country. Like the Delhi High Court, I believe, is one of the best. The names of good lawyers. I mean, of course, I'm not going to repeat them, but you can search and Google the top lawyers of this country. Most of them practice in the Supreme Court of this country. You can just log into the VC courtroom of the Chief Justice of India, Justice Chandrachud's court, and see the hearings for a day. While we were interning, of course, I was not that enthusiastic an intern, but I'm pretty sure many people were very enthusiastic about their internships, which you have, of course, covered in your previous session as well, the session that happened yesterday. People used to die for having, witnessed a court proceeding as an intern. Interns are not allowed to enter courtrooms as of now in the Supreme Court, as far as my knowledge goes. But at the end of the day, you can, of course, physically you can do that. Physically, you can see, but it's very difficult. In the High Court, you can do it. Supreme Court, I don't think so. You can do that. But then you can sit in your comfortable bed or your chair or your sofa, and you can do that. Why don't you guys simply, dedicate 1 hour out of the whole week into doing it? You should ask your law faculties that they should have that audio video enabled facility in their classroom, and they should they should request the Supreme Court to provide them a link, because the students want to learn the art of advocacy from the best names in the country, and you should watch that. There should be a 1 hour class for that. You should simply take notes on how they are arguing. You can even, I mean, of course, this is something from a very broad perspective. I'm saying lots of things will have to be worked out, but this, I'm just giving you an idea. There is absolutely no resource that is available to you guys right now with respect to improving your oral advocacy. And improving oral advocacy is improving your personality. At the end of the day, you must understand. If you have to improve your personality, you will and you must improve your oral advocacy. Now, oral advocacy entails a lot of things. One of it would be psychology. If you can study psychology as well, I'm not saying, of course, doing a master's, doing a major in psychology or something like that. I'm only suggesting read a book, read a good book. I would say read, there's a book named Influence by Robert Cialdini. If I'm pronouncing his name correctly, he's an Italian guy. It is, I'll just write the book's name in the chat box. Influence by Robert. You can Google this book. You can get this book through LibGen. Acha, guys, how many of you do not know what is LibGen? That's the most important thing we are coming. कितनों को नहीं पता है LibGen क्या होता है? जिनको पता है वो मत बताओ. C means conclusion, Anmol. Samisha, just share the link of LibGen on this chat box. So if you guys don't know, this is basically a website that contains PDF copies of most of the books on law, on anything which you will try to find, on general life, on philosophy, on anything, guys. कुछ भी देखना चाहो किताब आपको मिल जाएगी. आज की तारीख में ये चीज नहीं है कि you cannot afford a book. If you can afford a computer, then always, try to read ebooks. Of course, it's not that convenient. I remember I had the privilege of getting a Kindle. Not the privilege, of course. It's about investing your money in a good manner and earning money. Of course, that's also another part. That's for some different session. Earning money is very important, even in law school, I would say. That's for a different topic, but of course, you must invest your money in the best manner possible. And the money spent in education, in true education, not in degrees, in true education is the best utilization of money. So someone has just shared the LibGen का link. Each and every one of you जिसको नहीं पता है LibGen क्या होता है, visit it. Yeah, it is just like a Google. You just have to search whatever book. If you want to, let's say, read Robin Hood, just Google Robin Hood. If you have to read Panchatantra, just put in Panchatantra and just enter. You will get Panchatantra ki PDF copies there. It's exceptionally good for research as well in moot courts. When you are on a very specific topic, Indian law में इतना किताब LibGen पे नहीं होगा, I'm pretty sure, but still. Shadab, the sources from which you can search is, the first is, I would say, your library. Your college's library is the most important resource which you have to absolutely exhaust. Commentaries will be there. Even reported judgments will be there. Okay. Apart from that, search engines, most of the law schools have made it available. Live Law is also there. You have to, and of course the Google. You have to use the Google website as well. It is also very important. You can make that as well the backbone. Manu Patra has so many ways through which you can search the judgments and everything. It's also there. I mean, there's no two way about it. So there are ample of resources there from that perspective. Don't be afraid to ask stupid questions. That's another lesson which I'm telling you. Always ask stupid questions. Commentary is basically, it's a good question. It's not a stupid question, beta. If you are in law school, three months into the law school or 3 days into the law school, if you don't know what's a commentary, if you are asking, it's not a stupid question at all. Commentary is basically an author's opinion on a certain provision of law. That opinion can also be clubbed with judicial opinions sometimes, and most of the times it is in that manner. And when he compiles that, he compiles the statute book as well and compiles his opinion and judicial opinion along with that provision by section 5 पे ये बोला गया है सुप्रीम कोर्ट द्वारा, और मेरा भी ये कहना है. For example, you can read H.M. Sirvai's commentary on constitutional law. Of course, you don't have to read like ऐसे खाओ चलो खाना खा के read करते हैं, but I'm just telling. Okay, from a research perspective, these are the best things you can refer to. The other thing, one thing which I wanted to say, while you are mooting, while you are going to moot, confidence, of course, is the key. Confidence comes when you are so determined and you have worked so hard on that problem that no one can shake you. See, people see through things. People see through people. ठीक है, आप काम करके नहीं आओगे, समझ में आ जाएगा. आप प्रिपेयर करके आओगे, अगला क्वेश्चन पूछने से पहले 3 बार सोचेगा. सिंपल सी चीज है. अब रिसर्च एंड प्रिपरेशन आपकी अगर अच्छी है तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज जो आपको ध्यान रखनी है वो है ह्यूमिलिटी. ह्यूमिलिटी से ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट तो कुछ है ही नहीं. ठीक है. अब व्हाट इज ह्यूमिलिटी? Humility is basically acknowledging your shortcomings or recognizing that the other person is also as great as you or as equal as you. Okay. So, what's the perspective through which I would put it in a moot? Sometimes judges ask questions which are not that relevant, because law is all about finding what is relevant and what is irrelevant. Law is all about finding what is relevant, what is not relevant. All right. And of course, when you are in that query of finding what is relevant and not relevant, you will of course get agitated that, oh my God, that's not relevant. Why is the judge asking me such a stupid question? At that moment, you must understand he or she is the judge. The moot court is not existing for giving justice to a fictional character, because there is no justice for a fictional character. It is only for you to learn. And if a judge is asking you a stupid question as well, even in a courtroom, in a real courtroom, which, quote unquote, can be a stupid question for some people, mostly judges never ask stupid questions. They are trained professionals. They are only asking the question perhaps because you have not properly explained your case. So, while answering a quote unquote stupid question, you must have the humility of breaking down your point into the simplest manner possible and then explain that to the judge. That's the art of advocacy. I'll discuss what I said in the first 20 minutes of the lecture. I will discuss it later on because we are, short on time. We only have 4 minutes technically. I'll just shift to the other topics as well. Roles and responsibilities of a team. Can you ask? Roles and responsibilities within a Moot team. Now, this is another important issue. Teammates के साथ problem होगी. आप अभी college में आए हो. अभी, each and everyone is friend. When the college starts, we have, there are situations when I still remember there was a time where whole of my batch used to sit together. ठीक है, there is a good photograph I have of, मैंने अपने फोन से खींची थी, जिसमें बहुत लोग बैठे हुए हैं सारे कॉलेज के, मतलब पूरा बैच एक तरीके से बैठा है, ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत जिगरी दोस्त है. दैट्स ह्यूमन नेचर. शुरुआत में ऐसा ही होता है, बाद में ऐसा नहीं रहता है. बट मूड कोर्ट कंपटीशन में भी if you are dealing with the different people of different thinking, then you must understand the very cornerstone of any team is sacrifice and common interest in learning, sacrifice in that you all will sacrifice each and every your time into contributing into the smooth code. The site I was talking about is LibGen. Each and every see, don't worry, all your queries will be answered. All queries will be answered after this webinar as well. It's not an issue. Now, the most important thing in this distribution of work, in this roles and responsibility within a Moot team would be distribution of work, which should be very fair. By fair, I mean I would say if there are 3 members, each and every member. Thank you. Each and every member should take up one or the other issue. That's the deal. You must be very clear about it. You must be very clear about it in the sense that it is not like if I am the researcher, I am going to research less, or if I am the researcher, I am supposed to research the most. That's not the case. If I am the oralist, I am a senior advocate, I will only argue. That's not the case. You guys are kids. Each and every person must do his or her fair share of work. And of course, there are instances where people join moot courts because they are not interested actually in moot courts, but they are doing it out of peer pressure. If that's the case, they will not, mostly they'll not work. There are some gentlemen, some good people also who will, of course, persevere through it and who will do despite the fact that they are not actually interested in that. But if there is a certain teammate who is not that cooperative, then do not, seek a confrontation with that guy. That's the mistake personally I did with a dear friend of mine I had in my college. He perhaps was not interested in contributing in the manner he could have. But see, that's the point which, I'll understand once you get a bit years behind your ear, that you don't need to actively seek a confrontation, but you must understand that you would not avoid a confrontation as well. If the person is in the wrong, put him to his place. Complain to the authorities. Sir, this is not the way. If the person is not working, this is not the deal. You can't be a freeloader. Or of course, you have the option of quitting. We'll get another person who will be willing to do the work. That's something you'll have to handle on a case-to-case basis. The general thing I could have, said, I have told you. Next topic would be. एक second. Preparation strategies. The preparation strategies, what I can actually say is always set an extremely unrealistic deadline for yourself. By that I mean इतने कम दिनों की डेडलाइन रखो कि आपको सर फट जाए दर्द से कि माय गॉड मैं इतनी जल्दी कैसे करूंगा. अगर आपको आज है 5 तारीख, अगर आपको मोट कोर्ट का मेमोरियल देना है 21 तारीख को, तो आप उसमें इंटरनल डेडलाइन सेट करिए कि 14 तारीख तक मेरा फाइनल फुल स्टॉप रेडी हो चुका होगा मोट मेमोरियल का, और हम लोग ईमेल करने के लिए रेडी होंगे. ये डेडलाइन बनाइए. 21 तारीख की डेडलाइन मत रखिए अगर आपको एक्सेल करना है मोट में की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं. And after that, once you do that, of course, once you set an unrealistic deadline, I'm not saying you'll cut out the best draft possible on that 14th day, but I can assure you 21st तक आपका अच्छा मोट मेमोरियल जाएगा definitely 110%, because you have kept yourself on a short leash. You already have done 90% of the work when most of your competitors wouldn't have done 10% or 50% for that matter. But then again, most of the competitors are not your competition. Your competition is with yourself because you are doing this to improve yourself. And therefore, the best time management strategy is hard work, hard work, and hard work. There is no alternative to that. You must give at least, if you have, if you have like 10 to 20 days to your Moot memorial submission and you don't have anything else on your plate in terms of classes, and I'm very well aware of what classes are in law schools in this country, you must give at least 4 to 5 hours, or at least minimum 3 hours to the Moot court. And by 3 hours, I'm not saying going there and chatting in the library with a friend. No, I'm talking about real work. You have to be honest with yourself. Yeah, just do it or you don't do it. That's it. This is not school, of course. Parents are not going to make you do things. If you are entering law school, you must know that. And while teaming up and while doing what you are doing, also you have to find a why. Okay, why in the sense, why do you want to do this? You have to have a strong reason. If you don't see, that's the deal. Privileged people, people who come from privilege, that's the difficulty they face. If a person is coming from an unprivileged background, he will always have a why that he has to put bread on his table. If a person is very rich, he will never have that why. He'll have to find a higher why. And the life is a pursuit of finding the higher why. Higher why is not about simply having food on your table. Animals also do that. It's about self-actualization. This is all some HR thing which you of course can read in in detail. There's a good book by Simon Sinek, Start with Why. You can also read that. I'll just put Simon Sinek की book है. Start with a Why. It's a good book. You guys must read books. Each and every person, books को पढ़ने ही पढ़ने चाहिए. You will never read or write better if you don't. If you'll never write and speak better if you don't read a lot. How to read judgments efficiently. They are lengthy. See, that's another topic. You should have attended the previous seminar we organized. I think it was organized on 3rd. So that's the topic of different thing. Now, plagiarism is a very important issue. How to keep memorial within the plagiarism limit? That's by avoiding plagiarism. What is plagiarism? I'll tell you very simply. Plagiarism is presenting anyone else's idea as your own. That's the simple thing. Now, how do you prevent presenting someone else's idea as your own? By simply acknowledging anyone else's opinion. By saying that this is that certain person's opinion. That's it. That's all you have to do, and that's it. The plagiarism has been avoided. There is no plagiarism. So to explain it, I think that's the most simple thing that I've just remember this principle while you are researching and writing, and then it won't ever happen that you will plagiarize things. When you start copy pasting, of course, it's not about copy pasting. You have to, if you simply copy paste, that is plagiarism. You can paraphrase, but at the end of the day, paraphrase is not going to cut it. You have to create value on your own in your memorial or your research article. Footnoting is the bare minimum thing. Footnoting always ensure that there is, there is acknowledgement. And there is acknowledgement, there is no plagiarism. That's the thing. Now, strategies, of course, best is hard work. Manage your time. Set issue-specific deadlines as well. After setting up memorial deadlines, set issue-specific. First issue is तारीख तक, second issue is तारीख तक, third issue is तारीख तक. Okay, and of course, abide by those deadlines. उसमें कोई doubt नहीं है. General tips, I would say, kill your addictions, whatever it is. तो वही बात है, आदर्श बालक वाली बात हो जाएगी. But see, I've done everything. I wouldn't prefer doing it because it always comes at a cost. It always comes at a cost. Most important thing what I would recommend is every one of you are young people, start exercising. You are in your college. If it's an open campus, go to the gym you have. If you don't have a gym, visit the sports committee, get a gym. or get some sort of a sports exercise happening in the morning. Exercise in the morning, that's the best time to exercise. Exercise and meditate, these are the two things which you would do. I'm telling you, yaar, just do it for 30 days. People will not recognize you. This is very general self help ज्ञान, जिसने किया होगा उसे पता है एक्चुअली में काम करता है. ठीक है, आपके घर वाले इज्जत करना स्टार्ट कर देंगे आपकी. ठीक है, सच में. अगर स्पोर्ट्स खेलते हो, पढ़ाई नहीं कर पाते, तो उससे अच्छी कोई बात ही नहीं है. पढ़ाई करनी ही नहीं चाहिए. फिर आप वो करो जो आपको पसंद है. ठीक है, ऑलवेज डू व्हाट यू लाइक. इफ यू कैन मेक मनी आउट ऑफ इट, go for it. Making money is an important thing. Making money is just like fuel. I will share my details, don't worry. Making money is like a fuel. When you take out your car or your scooter for going out to some place, you always, of course, you will go to the petrol pump at one point of time. When you go to the petrol pump, do you think that you bought this car or bought this scooter so that you can go to the petrol pump daily to fill up the fuel? No. You need the money because you have to reach to a destination. You need the fuel because you have to reach a destination. Money is just a fuel. Money is never the objective. Never make money the objective of anything. Money is ephemeral. It will be there today. It might not be there tomorrow. It might not be today. It might be there tomorrow. 5:30 बजे भी घर, अगर आप सुबह जिम जाते हो कि शाम को जाते हो, मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर आप 5:30 बजे जिम जाते हो शाम को, तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. घर वाले अगर आपको इज्जत नहीं दे रहे, बिल्कुल सही कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. जो 5:30 बजे जनता जिम जाती है, उसको मेरे हिसाब से, अगर मैं अपने प्री जुडिशियल माइंडसेट से कहूँ, तो नहीं, 5:30 बजे जिम नहीं जाया जाता अनलेस आप सुबह भी जिम जा रहे हो. सुबह उठ के, क्योंकि यार देखो, आप सुबह उठते नहीं हो ना, तब आपको शो करता है आप मोटिवेटेड नहीं. अगर आप मोटिवेटेड नहीं हो, इसका मतलब आप वो नहीं कर रहे हो जो आप करना चाहते हो. लाइफ में वो करो जो आप करना चाहते हो. और हाँ, स्पोर्ट्स करने के लिए घर वाले इज्जत नहीं देते, हो सकता है उनकी बात सही, उनकी बात 90. घर वाले कभी बुरा चाहते नहीं यार आपका. कोई भी बुरा अगर चाहता हो, तो दुनिया में सारे लोग बुरा चाह सकते हैं घर वालों को छोड़ के. ठीक है. नेवर एवर थिंक फ्रॉम दैट पर्सपेक्टिव. They always want your best interest. If they do not want you to pursue sports, you should also pursue. See, once you start, applying your brain, once you start exercising, you will see a remarkable improvement in your studies. आप पढ़ाई जल्दी करोगे, अच्छे से कंसंट्रेशन लगेगा, अच्छी खासी आप फीलिंग आपको अच्छी आएगी सुबह से शाम तक. यार, रेगुलर क्लासेस को कैसे अप्रोच करना है, देखो, नोट्स लो. ठीक है. मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट है, जिनको कंसंट्रेशन के इश्यूज हैं, उनको मेडिटेशन करना बहुत जरूरी है. अगर आप जिनको कंसंट्रेशन का इशू है, रिकॉग्नाइज करें कंसंट्रेशन का इशू है, वो तभी होगा जब आप मेडिटेशन करना स्टार्ट करोगे. अब आप मेडिटेशन करना जब स्टार्ट करोगे, तो आपको कंसंट्रेशन का, बिकॉज मेडिटेशन इज जस्ट बीइंग सेल्फ कॉन्शियस ऑफ योरसेल्फ. ठीक है. जस्ट बीइंग कॉन्शियस दैट आई एम फीलिंग बैड, आई एम फीलिंग गुड, आई एम फीलिंग नाइस, आई एम फीलिंग नॉट नाइस, या आई एम ब्रीदिंग. दैट्स मेडिटेशन. Once you start to do that, you will improve your concentration. Because meditation में एक पॉइंट होता है सेल्फ ऑब्जर्व करना, दूसरा होता है वो ऑब्जर्वेशन से हटा के फोकस करना माइंड का किसी चीज पे या किसी भी चीज पे नहीं. That's the most important thing. अच्छा, I will share the score sheets which colleges generally use so that you guys can have an idea as to how the Moot memorials are ranked. Is an important issue. I will certainly send that document. Samiksha will send that document to you, each and every one of you. That's not an issue. Can we upload documents in this chat? Media कर सकते हैं क्या? अगर कर सकते हैं, I'm texting you something, just upload it.
Otherwise, I'll mail them.
हाँ, you can mail them.
We'll mail them. Or if you have a link जिसमें कुछ ऐसा हो तो I
can.
Okay, we'll share.
ठीक है, तो I think so this pretty much concludes our session. The questions I will now start to address. Moot की performance का judge कैसे होता है? Objective criteria will be sent to you through email. How to approach classes? Concentration improve करो. That's the fundamental thing. And of course, your teachers might not be the best teachers in this country, but they are trying to make out a living. Just respect them for that. And study. Listen to what they have. Arey, thank you so much for wishing me on Teachers Day. That's very nice of you. I'll just put each and every. I'll just answer each and every query. How many mock trials did I participate? I never participated in any mock trial. Moot courts I've done two. Good moot courts I've done 2. Moot courts in total I have done about 4. But age is not a number, is not a criteria. That's the most important thing. एक करो, इज्जत से करो. Can you guys unmute yourself and ask queries, because it's very difficult to read the text.
Guys, please raise your hands and I'll unmute.
Good evening, sir. Shreyanshi here.
Hi, Shreyanshi.
Happy Teachers' Day, sir. Your session was really good. I had a doubt actually.
Yeah.
Sir, we just got that mood trial sort of thing in our college, and I found it really hard for me to prepare the arguments advance. So eventually, on the last day, I had to back out. So can you please give any tips like how to prepare arguments advanced?
See, that would be a very detailed discussion. एक step पे guide करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. So अभी तो आपने जैसे for example you have backed out of your mood court competition. What's your plan? Are you planning to do any other moot in the recent मतलब अगले महीने या in the 6 months time period or anything?
Yes, sir. A freshers moot is also being organized by my college, so I'm planning to take part on that.
ठीक है. When is the date for the freshers moot?
By October or November end.
The moot problem is not out.
No, it's not out.
ठीक है. So I think what you can do is we can connect while your moot problem is out. Samiksha will provide you the details, and then because this is a very long question, for it to be answered in one paragraph also. How to prepare the arguments advance was my endeavor for this conference, but in reality, perhaps of course it's very difficult to put across things through a webinar as well. You have to demonstrate it live. You have to work in a team to know how to work. Maybe, ना? Most important है सबसे पहले facts आप अच्छे से पढ़ो. साथ में legal research, वो धीरे-धीरे step by step process है. एक साथ करके नहीं बता सकते. I'll share my notes. I'll definitely share all my notes I have taken for this session. आप उससे एक बार refer कर सकते हो. अच्छा, one thing I also wanted to say is, अगर moot करना अच्छे से सच में सीखना है, of course, किताब से अगर सीखना है थोड़ा सा, तो there is a very good book of LexisNexis, which of course there might be many books which are good, but एक book जो मैंने actually में खरीद के पढ़ी थी, वो थी Understanding Moot Courts या something like that by LexisNexis. It had a yellow cover.
Okay.
ठीक है, आप चाहो तो वो किताब भी खरीद के पढ़ लो अच्छे से, एंड उससे आपको चीजें बहुत क्लैरिटी से मिलेंगी, बहुत क्लियर हो जाएंगी.
Right.
ठीक है.
And sir, can you give your LinkedIn page or anything so that I can connect with you?
Yeah.
During.
You can search me on the.
I'll write your name.
Yeah. Just put a link. आप लोग LinkedIn
Sure.
पे connect करके you can ask if you can simply ask a question on LinkedIn, it's not an issue. कोई mood का भी question होगा, you can very well ask that. That's not an issue, absolutely.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Manya is the next person.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
So since we are in the first sem, we definitely know that mood courts होते हैं, but I don't know about other people, but personally I do not have the basic idea कि क्या होता है mood courts में, and what is the procedure, and how do we go about them, and are there only the arguments to be made, या फिर जैसे real courts में witnesses होते हैं and proper एक uh, we can say एक proper scenario like in the real court जैसे witnesses होते हैं and all that, that is presented in the moot court, or only the arguments, like please give a basic idea.
It depends, Manya. It depends on the moot court ka format. So generally, I have done moot courts in which the courts were before the simulation of the court, as Anmol I think had pointed out, was before an appellate court. So what's an appellate court? An appellate court is not a trial court. आपको trial court का concept idea है थोड़ा सा?
Not really, but maybe appellate court में you file an appeal, the case has already been there, and you file an appeal, maybe, I'm not sure.
Correct. The case has already been decided. A very good analogy which I can would have given if I was like a 10-year-old. आप लोगों के siblings में लड़ाई होती है, ठीक है? For example, you have a elder brother and who's not that elder to you, or maybe you have an elder sister who's not that elder, मतलब 2 साल बड़ी है मेरे से, ठीक है? And I have an elder sister जो मेरे से 5 साल बड़ी है, और मेरी बड़ी बहन से भी कम 5 साल बड़ी है, ठीक है? 5 या 6 साल बड़ी है. अब कोई डिस्प्यूट होती है, बहुत बेसिक में आइडिया दे रहा हूँ तुमको, एपेलेट कोर्ट का कॉन्सेप्ट और इन सब का कॉन्सेप्ट. तो कोई भी डिस्प्यूट होती है किसी भी चीज पे, लड़ाई झगड़ा होता है, तो फॉर एग्जांपल आप सबसे एल्डेस्ट सिबलिंग के पास जाओगे, वो कुछ ना कुछ देगा. आई एम प्रीटी श्योर द एल्डेस्ट सिबलिंग थोड़ा तो वो मीडिएटर या कुछ ना कुछ तो वो करेगा, ठीक है? अब अगर उसके डिसीजन से आप अग्री, फॉर एग्जांपल वो दोनों मिलके आपको परेशान कर रहे हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल, तो आप किसके पास जाओगे? आप अपनी मदर के पास जाओगे या फादर के पास जाओगे? तो वो हो गए एपेलेट कोर्ट्स. बहुत सिंपल एग्जांपल है. जो अथॉरिटी के ऊपर की अथॉरिटी होती है उसको अपीलेट अथॉरिटी कहते हैं, कोर्ट्स. That's it. So for that to exist, there must be a decision which has been taken by a lower authority. अब जो ये मॉक ट्रायल्स का कॉन्सेप्ट आप बता रहे थे, मॉक ट्रायल्स का कॉन्सेप्ट होता है प्रॉपर फाइंडिंग्स ऑफ फैक्ट्स लेना. Findings of facts are a bit more complicated. Mock trials I haven't done but they are also a good thing to explore. For example, if you want to do a good mock trial, I would say सिक्टा सिम्बियोसिस की यूनिवर्सिटी जो है वो कराती है, पुणे की. उनका एक मॉक ट्रायल होता है सिक्टा SICTA करके. Try participating into that. It's a very good thing. And दूसरा क्या है, सिक्टा के अलावा भी मॉक ट्रायल्स होते हैं. There are lot many mock trials. In DVP Pune also conducts a very good mock trial. ठीक है. Apart from that, what was the question, Manya?
So the basic procedure, like how the moots are done.
Basic procedure in the sense कि moot problem upload होती है, you guys are sent with the moot problem, you guys have to read it by a certain time, you have to pose your clarifications to that fact of the moot problem, जो भी facts उसमें mentioned है. उसके बाद आपका moot memorial submit होगा कॉलेज में, और मेमो सबमिट होने के बाद उसके 2 दिन बाद 1-2 दिन बाद ओरल आर्ग्यूमेंट्स हो जाएंगे, ठीक है? ओरल आर्ग्यूमेंट्स हो जाएंगे और उसमें आपको जज के सामने अपने मेमोरियल की एक जेरोक्स लेके आर्ग्यू करना होगा केस अपना. That's it. That is it. And
Alright, so I'll just have to argue, no witnesses like in proper litigation courts, nothing like that.
No. Witnesses नहीं होंगे जनरली moot courts जो थे. Appellate मैंने बोला ना, appellate में witness नहीं आते, 99% नहीं आते. Provision शायद है CPC में, but witness नहीं आते. For the reason that you will be arguing on the first principles of law. What is the first principle? Basics of law. Law पे argue कर रहे हो गया, ना कि facts पे. There are two different things. No, एक तो fact है, एक तो law है. ये किया या नहीं किया is the fact. सही है कि गलत है, ये is the law. है ना?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
I think one question is by Abhi. Abhi, you can speak.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please speak. Please speak.
So question was like, any NNU versus the private institution makes any difference in profession?
बिल्कुल डिफरेंस नहीं में होता है। देखो यार, अगर रियलिटी में ये फालतू की डिबेट, एक तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एक चीज बहुत क्लियर रखो लाइफ में, मेन स्ट्रीम की जो बुलशिट नैरेटिव चलता है उस पर प्लीज आप मत जाए कभी, ठीक है? फोकस ऑन योरसेल्फ, ऑलवेज फोकस ऑन योरसेल्फ एंड योर इम्प्रूवमेंट, ठीक है? ईच एंड एवरी डे I remember a very good thing I witnessed once in the High Court. I was just 1 year into the profession, and an old lady, a very old lady, was arguing a matter. Was actually arguing her own matter. She was arguing her pension ka matter. That old lady, I believe, had no one in her family. She was the alone. She was the only person who was living. कितना weak होंगी इमोशनली भी, एक तरीके से आप देखो तो उनके पर्सपेक्टिव से अगर आप देखो, फिजिकली ऑफ कोर्स शी वाज वेरी ओल्ड. She was arguing her pension case, and I remember it was in the High Court of Delhi. I'm just giving you a story and explaining you what your question exactly is. The case was being defended. मतलब उनके जो ऑपोजिट में वकील थे हाई कोर्ट के, वन ऑफ द बेस्ट लॉयर्स ऑफ द दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट, मिस्टर राकेश
Okay.
खन्ना. मतलब she was up against a giant. She didn't even know the law. She was just a teacher. She was in a pension matter, and I am telling you, ऐसी तैसी कर दी थी उन्होंने. She argued it so well कि मतलब she received an applause in the courtroom. I witnessed it from my own eyes, and I still remember. बहुत उनकी तारीफ भी करी, and then again a person came, one sick gentleman came, and he told very good thing कि sir, he introduced that lady that sir हम लोग भी अपना पेंशन का केस लेने आए. मैं वहीं खड़ा था, that's why I was hearing this thing. And ये मेरे फादर हैं, ये भी अपने पेंशन का केस के लिए लड़ने आए थे. मैडम आपने बहुत इंस्पिरेशन हम लोग को दी ये केस आर्ग्यू करके. और what one thing he said that day was, each day you wake up, you are a fresh person.
Okay.
आप कल रहे होंगे अमिताभ बच्चन, कल रहे होंगे डॉक्टर अभिषेक मनु सिंघवी, परसों रहे होंगे कपिल सिब्बल. आज सुबह फ्लैट क्लीन स्लेट से स्टार्ट कर रहे हो. आज रात में आप वो हो जो आज पूरे दिन आपने किया है. आप आज
Okay.
सुबह हो सकता है लगा होगा कि आप प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटी के स्टूडेंट हो, कल सुबह की बाद जो रात होगी ना, वो डिफाइन आप ही करोगे कि आप क्या हो. वो आपका कॉलेज नहीं डिफाइन करेगा, ना आपका फैमिली बैकग्राउंड डिफाइन करेगा, ना आपका इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस डिफाइन करेगा, और ना ऑफ कोर्स आपका जेंडर डिफाइन करेगा.
Thank you, sir, for the guidance.
Yeah. Is there any other question?
नमस्कार.
अभी
नमस्कार सर. Can
नमस्कार.
I am speak in Hindi?
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल भाई, बिल्कुल.
हैप्पी टीचर डे.
थैंक यू.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि एनएलयू और सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी लाइक सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ पंजाब, एयू, बीएचयू, सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ छत्तीसगढ़, इससे कोई प्रोफेशन पर, मतलब कि लिटिगेशन प्रोफेशन पर कोई असर पड़ेगा?
मेरे हिसाब से देखो, असर वही, मेरे जवाब सेम है यार जो आपको जो अभी पूछा गया सवाल. फर्क इतना ज्यादा नहीं पड़ेगा. फर्क सिर्फ उतना पड़ेगा जितना आप फर्क पड़वाना चाहते हो. 2 पॉइंट्स बस मैं बता देता हूँ जिसपे आपको ध्यान रखना है. जी तोड़ मेहनत करनी है, नंबर 1. सही डायरेक्शन में मेहनत करनी है, नंबर 2. दीवार पे धक्का नहीं मारना है. सिंपल सी चीज है. अंग्रेजी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आज की तारीख में भी. भारतवर्ष आज की तारीख में एक सुपर पावर भी बन जाए 2030 तक, 40 तक, पर तब भी दुनिया से बिजनेस करने के लिए भी हम लोग को अंग्रेजी में ही बात करनी पड़ेगी.
नहीं सर, तो मैं मतलब कि पहले तो हिंदी मीडियम में था, लेकिन अब इंग्लिश मीडियम में शिफ्ट कर रहे हैं. शायद 2-3 साल में पूरा इंग्लिश मीडियम में शिफ्ट हो भी जाए. उतना मेहनत कर रहे हैं इंग्लिश मीडियम के लिए. तो वो तो हमें आशा है कि हो जाएगा. 5 साल बहुत है. BLLB कोर्स कर रहे हैं
जी.
अभी तो लिखते हैं हिंदी, इंग्लिश मीडियम में ही लिखते हैं, और मतलब कि उतना बात नहीं कर पाते हैं इंग्लिश मीडियम में.
कोई दिक्कत नहीं है.
उससे
इसके लिए
कोई तो
इम्प्रूव
दिक्कत
करने
नहीं.
के लिए आप क्या क्या कर रहे हो, बस ये मुझे बताओ.
एक नीतू मैम है, उनका स्पीकिंग इंग्लिश स्पोकन का कोर्स कर रहे हैं, और कलीग हैं जिनसे इंग्लिश में अंग्रेजी में बात होती है।
इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग का कोर्स आप कर रहे हो, उससे बढ़िया कुछ नहीं है। बहुत महंगा कोर्स मत करना, अंग्रेजी इतनी डिफिकल्ट लैंग्वेज नहीं है कि आपको महंगा कोर्स करना पड़े। बस मेरा एक सिंपल सा
महंगा
एडवाइस है।
महंगा नहीं, एक नीतू मैम है, नीतू मैम इंग्लिश पढ़ाती हैं, तो उनसे स्पोकन इंग्लिश का कोर्स कर रहे हैं।
यूट्यूब के माध्यम से पढ़ाती हैं, ऑनलाइन पढ़ाती हैं कि फिजिकली जाके आप क्लास अटेंड करते हो?
नहीं, फिजिकली तो नहीं, अभी तो ऑनलाइन कोर्स कर रहे हैं, पेड कोर्स
सही।
है।
हाँ मैं बिल्कुल करेंगे। अब इसमें साथ में आप ये करिए, रोज जो है इंग्लिश का न्यूज़पेपर आके पढ़िए, इंडियन एक्सप्रेस, हिंदू या कोई भी इंग्लिश न्यूज़पेपर फॉर दैट मैटर पढ़िए, ठीक है?
द हिंदू पूरा तो नहीं पढ़ते हैं, लेकिन कुछ कुछ पढ़ते हैं, कुछ कुछ पैराग्राफ, पूरा पैराग्राफ
अगर
तो नहीं
नहीं समझ, देखो पढ़ते हो अच्छी बात है, नहीं समझ में आता है तो उसमें बैठ के पूरा उसको 2-3 बार पढ़ो जब तक समझ ना आए आपको। नंबर 1, डरना नहीं है, मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, ठीक है? और दूसरा, ग्रामर जो है वो बेसिक से पढ़ो, ग्रामर पढ़ना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। मैथमेटिक्स जैसे होती है, मैथमेटिक्स आपकी कैसी है?
मैथमेटिक्स अच्छी है।
बस मैथ्स है,
पहले तो
थोड़े बहुत उसमें
इंजीनियरिंग में
एक्सेप्ट
जाने
होते
का,
हैं।
पहले मैथमेटिक्स से ही परसीव करने का मन था, लेकिन फिर ये इसमें आ गए, बीए
हाँ,
लॉ प्रोफेशन।
कोई दिक्कत नहीं, लॉ तो मैथमेटिक्स जैसी ही लगभग लगभग है, थोड़े बहुत एक्सेप्शंस रह जाते हैं। अब मैथ्स अगर अच्छी है आपकी, मैथ्स की तरह जैसे आप समझते हो फॉर्मूला और सारी चीजें, वैसे ही आप उस तरीके से ग्रामर उसकी समझ लो, इंग्लिश की, ठीक है? थोड़ा याद करना पड़ेगा, मेमोरी बनानी पड़ेगी, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है, लेकिन एक बार आप कर लोगे, स्पीकिंग आपकी अच्छी हो जाएगी। एक सबसे बड़ा पॉइंट मुझे ये लगता है, कभी भी अंग्रेजी बोलने में फालतू में एक्सेंट देने का कोई मतलब नहीं है। 1 सेकंड मुझे होल्ड करिएगा। जी हेलो।
हाँ हाँ।
देखिए, एक्सेंट को आपको अपना इंग्लिश वाला वैसा एकदम नहीं करना है कि एकदम आप नेटफ्लिक्स एटफ्लिक्स देखने लगे, अमेरिकन एक्सेंट करने लगे, वो इतना रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है। मतलब आप अपने ऑथेंटिक एक्सेंट में रहो, अंग्रेजी सही बोलो, दैट्स द रिक्वायरमेंट। एक अच्छा एग्जांपल अगर मैं दूं, लुक एट मिस्टर मुकुल रोहतगी। मुकुल रोहतगी जी हैं देश के वन ऑफ द बेस्ट वकीलों में से गिने जाते हैं, अटॉर्नी जनरल रहे हैं, और मतलब टॉप 5 के वकीलों में तो 110% गारंटीड के साथ ये होंगे आज की तारीख में भारत में। उनको कभी अंग्रेजी बोलते सुनिए, और कभी किसी और को अंग्रेजी बोलते सुनिए, किसी और वकील को। मैं किसी की, मतलब आई एम नॉट क्रिटिसाइजिंग एनीवन कि अरे ये तो अंग्रेजी के एक्सेंट में अंग्रेजी बोल रहे हैं, बट वो एकदम ऐसी भाषा में बात करेगा जैसा नॉर्मल हिंदी में आदमी बात करता है, ठीक है? और अंग्रेजी ही बोलेंगे, सारी ग्रामर सही होगी। आपकी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज क्या है? 2 + 2 = 4 लिखना, ग्रामर सही है, बस काम खत्म। आपकी ग्रामर सही है, दैट्स इट। प्रोनाउंसिएशन थोड़ी बहुत सही है, ठीक, बहुत फोकस करने का जरूरत नहीं है प्रोनाउंसिएशन पे, क्योंकि यार देखो, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इंग्लिश इज नॉट आवर लैंग्वेज। रशियंस विल प्रोनाउंस योर नेम इन द वर्स्ट पॉसिबल मैनर, चाइनीज विल प्रोनाउंस योर नेम इन द वर्स्ट पॉसिबल मैनर, इंग्लिश, ब्रिटेन के लोग आपका नाम का एकदम मुखौल बना के रख देंगे, कुछ बोलेंगे, कुछ का कुछ बोलेंगे। तो हम लोग क्यों इतना परेशान हो उनका नाम ढंग से प्रोनाउंस करने? ठीक है, पूरा प्रयास, जितना प्रयास हो सकता है करेंगे, अपनी आइडेंटिटी तो नहीं खो सकते ना उसके लिए, सिंपल सी चीज है। मेहनत लेकिन करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। ग्रामर मैथमेटिक्स ही है, इंग्लिश ग्रामर उतनी ज्यादा प्रिसाइज नहीं है जितनी संस्कृत ग्रामर होती है, लेकिन तब भी मोटा मोटा उतनी ही होती है। मतलब तब भी ऐसा नहीं कि कुछ आप उसमें कवर नहीं कर सकते, पढ़ाई नहीं कर सकते।
थैंक यू सर, आपकी आगे भी गाइडेंस रहेगी ना?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। आप लिंक्डइन पे हो क्या?
नहीं, अभी तो मतलब नई अकाउंट नहीं बनाया है, लेकिन दोस्त बोल रहे थे कि बनाना पड़ेगा।
देखो मैं अपना 1 सेकंड रुकना, इसमें चैट है क्या? 1 सेकंड रुकना बस। नहीं, एक बार मैं कैन आई जस्ट पुट इन टेक्स्ट? मैं अपना जो है फोन नंबर डाल रहा हूँ इसमें, प्लीज मुझे मतलब मैं समझ रहा हूँ, देखो मेरा पूरा ऑब्जेक्टिव है हेल्प करना आप लोगों का, बट कॉल बिना एकदम पूछे मत कर देना, क्योंकि कई बार मैं बिजी होता हूँ तो फोन उठाना एकदम संभव नहीं होता है, और कई बार मैं फोन उठाता हूँ तो मुझे लगता है किसी इंपॉर्टेंट फोन कॉल हो, अनलेस कोई बहुत इमरजेंसी है आपको तो अलग बात है, लेकिन कई बार होता है कि वाकई में इमरजेंसी होती है और मुझे फोन आता है, तो वो फोन उठाना ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है ना?
ये सर
तो
ऐसे भी कॉल मैसेज करके ही कॉल करना चाहिए।
हाँ, मैसेज कर दीजिए और कोई दिक्कत नहीं। हाँ बिल्कुल, वी कैन मतलब आप मैसेज कर सकते हैं, आपके डाउट्स जो भी हैं उसको अच्छे से पुट करके। ये मेरा व्हाट्सएप नंबर भी है, इस पे आप टेक्स्ट भी कर सकते हो चाहो।
थैंक यू सर, इतने मतलब कि टाइम के लिए तो आपको पे किया जाता होगा, लेकिन हम लोग के लिए आप फ्री में होने वाले।
लिटिगेशन में यार इतनी शुरुआत में इतने टाइम के लिए नहीं पे किया जाता है, ट्रस्ट मी, इतना ऐसा नहीं होता है ना। बट ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं। ऑफ कोर्स यार देखो, सीख हम लोग को भी इतना सिखाया गया है, इसलिए हम वहीं अपना लोन पे बैक कर रहे हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है। हम लोग को भी जिन्होंने सिखाया बहुत उम्दा लोग थे, और उसमें से कितने लोग तो, एक समीर सर करके थे, वो तो आज ऑक्सफोर्ड में है, बहुत अच्छे मतलब वो पढ़ाई में थे, और वो ऑक्सफोर्ड में इस समय एलएलएम करके वहां पे ही नौकरी कर रहे हैं, जहां तक मुझे अंदाजा है। और बहुत लोग यूएस गए, बहुत बढ़िया बढ़िया नौकरियां ली, और उन्होंने हम लोग को सिखाया है। तो हम लोग की भी एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनती है सबको सिखाने की, और आपकी भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनती है सिखाने की। कोई और डाउट्स हो तो प्लीज पूछिए।
गुड इवनिंग सर। सर
गुड इवनिंग।
सर मैं अभी सर बीएचयू में सर अभी फर्स्ट सेम में हूँ, फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर में। अभी सर कॉलेज खुले नहीं है। सर आपसे एक चीज़ पूछनी थी सर, मुझे मतलब जुडिशरी के लिए मेरा एम है परस्यू
जी
करने के। तो फिर सर मुझे मतलब कि इंटर्नशिप्स या फिर मूट पे उतना फोकस देना चाहिए कि नहीं देना चाहिए?
जुडिशरी पे तुम्हें इंटरेस्ट है एक्चुअली में? अगर तुम्हें नहीं है तो अलग बात है, अगर तुम्हें है तो क्यों है, सबसे बड़ा क्वेश्चन हुआ है।
सर इंटरेस्ट तो मतलब सर मतलब 2 साल पहले से ही था कुछ।
नहीं, लेकिन इंटरेस्ट कैसे बना क्या? देखो, अब आप नमन, आप कानपुर से भी हो ना?
हाँ हाँ सर, मैं कानपुर से हूँ।
देखो, ये 99% मैं बता रहा हूँ, पेरेंट्स मेरे भी घर वाले सब यही बोलते थे कि देखिए, सरकारी नौकरी से ज्यादा बड़ी अच्छी नौकरी यूपी, बिहार और भारत में ज्यादातर परिवार नहीं समझते। ये फैक्ट है।
यस सर।
सारे पेरेंट्स चाहते हैं कि बढ़िया से बढ़िया सरकारी नौकरी लगे। अब भाई देखो, हर कोई यूपीएससी नहीं दे सकता, यूपीएससी देना बहुत टफ भी होता है, और साथ में होने के चांसेस भी बहुत कम होते हैं। ठीक है, तो लोग जुडिशरी का वो करते हैं। अब आपको सबसे पहले क्वेश्चन अपने को पोज करना है कि आपके लिए क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है। आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट ये है कि सरकारी नौकरी करें, पेरेंट्स की सुने, या आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आप अपने से पूछें कि आप किस चीज में कॉम्पिटेंट हैं और क्या चीज करना चाहते हैं जीवन में, और उसको परस्यू
मतलब
करें।
सर रीजन तो वैसे थोड़ा फैमिली प्रेशर भी है।
बिल्कुल होता है, बहुत हर इंसान का होता है, उसमें कोई एकदम भी गलत बात नहीं है। 99% लोगों को होता है, उसमें कोई। माय वेरी गुड फ्रेंड, जो कि अगर आज वकालत में होते, अभी वो वकालत एंटर करेंगे मोस्टली, ही इज राइट नाउ इन हरियाणा, ही इज एज अ सिविल जज। अ वेरी वेरी गुड फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन कॉलेज से, उसने भी पेरेंटल प्रेशर में आके जुडिशरी करी है। जहां तक मुझे लगता है उसकी इच्छा इतनी नहीं थी, उसकी इच्छा थी लिटिगेशन करने की, और कैपेसिटी उनकी इतनी है कि वो कम से कम अगर वकालत में जाएं तो दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट के जज से नीचे तो वो नहीं रिटायर होने चाहिए, अगर न्याय पूर्वक तरीके से जजेस का सिलेक्शन हो भारतवर्ष में। अब पॉइंट ये है कि ये क्वेश्चन सबसे बड़ा आपका है कि आपके पेरेंट्स की खुशी वर्सेस आपके सपने, जो कि हर लगता है, मतलब मुझे लगता है हर इंसान का सबसे बड़ा सवाल होता है। आपके पेरेंट्स की खुशी, आपके सपने, देख लीजिए आपको क्या इंपॉर्टेंट लगता है। अगर आप, और पेरेंट्स देखो, पेरेंट्स आपको सपोर्ट कर देंगे अगर आप मेहनत कर रहे हो ना। कोई बाप सपोर्ट ऐसा हो नहीं सकता आपको ना करे। अगर बस आप, मतलब यार देखो, कभी पेरेंट्स ये नहीं कह सकते हैं कि, मतलब वो मेहनत अगर बच्चा कर रहा हो तो कभी शायद पेरेंट्स वो नहीं करेंगे, प्रोटेस्ट नहीं करेंगे। इट्स ओनली व्हेन यू आर एक्चुअली नॉट वर्किंग हार्ड, एक्चुअली अपना जब आप
यस
कर्तव्य
सर।
नहीं कर रहे हो, तब आपके पेरेंट्स आपको पूछते हैं। कभी ऐसा नहीं है। ये चॉइस आपकी है, आप लोगों खुद की चॉइस है, खुद का क्वेश्चन है, खुद का आंसर है इसमें। Options we have: judiciary, litigation, and corporate in law field. ऑप्शंस लिटिगेशन जुडिशरी के अलावा बहुत हैं। आप पहले देखिए आप क्या करना चाहते हो। ये सारा मूट कोर्ट का सेशन एक तरफ, आप अगर लॉ में भी इंटरेस्टेड नहीं हो तो बहुत एकदम इसमें कोई गलत बात नहीं है बोलने की कि मुझे लॉ में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है। आपको जैसा समझ, आपको एमबीए समझ में आता है एमबीए करो, आपको आर्ट समझ में आता है, आप आर्टिस्ट बनना चाहते हो, मार्शल आर्ट्स करना चाहते हो, मार्शल आर्ट्स करो। कोई गलत बात उसमें किसी भी चीज की नहीं। रीडिंग और राइटिंग तभी इंप्रूव होगी, स्पीकिंग तभी। स्पीकिंग देखिए स्टेप बाय स्टेप प्रोसेस है। सबसे पहले राइटिंग इंप्रूव करना और रीडिंग इंप्रूव करना है। रीडिंग राइटिंग तभी इंप्रूव होगी जब आप पहले, अगर इंग्लिश आपकी इतनी अच्छी नहीं है आप उसको इंग्लिश अच्छी करिए, और जो है इंग्लिश को न्यूज़पेपर्स पढ़िए और कोर्स लीजिए। अगर आपको हिंदी मीडियम से आपने ग्रेजुएशन किया, स्कूल करा है तो उसके बाद रीडिंग कर लिया। राइटिंग राइटिंग तो ऑफ कोर्स उसी में कोर्स में ही हो जाएगा जो इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग का कोर्स करोगे। फिर धीरे धीरे स्पीकिंग पे आओ। और स्पीकिंग मतलब ये नहीं कि जहां ताए तहां अंग्रेजी बोलना स्टार्ट कर दिया, ये सब नहीं करो। टोस्ट मास्टर्स करके एक अच्छी चीज होती है, वो आप एक बार चाहो तो ज्वाइन करके देख चुके हो, ठीक है। और इट्स बेसिकली एक इवेंट होता है जहां पे आप जाके पब्लिक स्पीकिंग कर सकते हो। और स्पीकिंग इंप्रूव करने से बेटर मूट कोर्ट कंपटीशन से क्या हो सकता है? यू कैन ऑलवेज डू दैट, है ना? दैट्स द डील। एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस गाइस?
Good evening, sir. My
Yeah.
name is Vanshika. So I have joined Nirma University. It's been a month and plus that I have joined the law school. So I had this question that how do we stay motivated or disciplined to work consistently towards the goal?
That is a very good, of course, question. The only answer is by being true to yourself. That's the answer. आप अपने से सच्चाई, आप मतलब सोचो यार, बहुत सिंपल है। If the course you are pursuing is it something you genuinely wanted to do,
Yes, sir.
then there is no reason for you to not wake up at 5 in the morning and start working on it. And by working, of course, I don't mean start simply reading a book. By exercising, by keeping your health in the best possible manner. Every aspect of your health, every aspect of your intellectual this thing development also, हर तरीके से मोटिवेटेड कैसे रहना है। अगर देखो, अगर दुख होता है या आदमी को होता है यार, इंसान को डिस्ट्रैक्शंस आ जाते हैं, then you have to make those sacrifices, ठीक है। You have to cut out friends. I'm not saying to cut out friends in total, but always make good friends. देखो यार, अगर आप उन लोगों के साथ हैंग आउट करोगे ना जिन लोगों का कोई फ्यूचर या जिन लोगों को आइडिया नहीं है कि भाई उनको आगे क्या करना है, आप भी वैसे ही हो जाओगे। और वेरी सैड टू से 99% ऑफ द जनता को क्लू नहीं है उनको क्या करना है। जो बंदा टॉप पे बैठा है ना, उसके ज्यादा दोस्त नहीं होते। योर चॉइस। You want to have many friends and an average life, that's a very good life to have. It's no, I'm not judging it, but you want to have a very very good life and a few friends or a few loved ones or a few people you genuinely love and they love you. You understanding my point?
Yes, sir. So also one thing more, sir, since it is a very rapid transition from school, like till 12th, things were really different. And now in law school, they are completely changed. So, sir, basically sometimes that self-doubt also takes place. That will I be able to do this? Will I be able to complete this course or this profession? Am I competent enough for this profession? So doubts like this come up, sir. So basically, it makes us feel distracted because it has so much to offer. The field is so vast and we have just joined and we see people around us doing internships. I think they have done it from their class 11th only. So sir, this makes it very difficult for people like us to actually stay in this level playing field.
See, self doubt of course is there. Self doubt is a good thing as well as a bad thing as well, but the only thing you can clear the self doubt is through doing the act, is simply going out and trying and failing. That's the फंडामेंटली मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। अगर सबसे बड़ा लेसन आप लोगों को मुझे इसमें देना हो पूरे सेशन में, क्योंकि सेशन भी थोड़ा बेंड हो गया है बहुत पहले, 40 मिनट पहले, तो सबसे बड़ा लेसन है प्लीज फेल। just simply go and fail. Fail well, fail fast. By fail well, I mean try अच्छे से करो. Do not ever be afraid of failure. ठीक है, कभी भी never ever be afraid of failure. There is nothing that is going to kill you. Of course, अगर आप ऐसे में हो कि भाई एक्चुअल में आपकी डेथ ही हो जाएगी, 99% आई एम प्रीटी श्योर यार ऐसा तो होगा नहीं, मोड्स में तो एटलीस्ट, ठीक है, बट max to max, never be afraid of embarrassment, never be afraid of being the dumb person of the class, never ever be afraid. ठीक है, लोगों की करियर अपसाइड डाउन जाता है, डम से वो एकदम टॉप पहुंचते हैं, ऐसा नहीं होता है कि टॉप ही टॉप रहते हैं हमेशा. अब मतलब एकदम भी सेल्फ डाउट अच्छी बात है, फेलियर का फेयर कभी नहीं रखो. सेल्फ डाउट ठीक है, उसको कॉन्कर करो, फियर मत करो फेलियर को, अपना काम करो आगे. मोटिवेटेड कैसे रहना है यार, देखो सिंपल है, एक्सरसाइज अच्छे से करो एंड अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज समझो. बीइंग अ पर्सन इन योर पोजीशन, व्हाटएवर इज योर पोजीशन, व्हाट इज द ideal behavior that is expected out of you? Do that. Have fun as well. It's not the case that don't have fun, but still all fun तो नहीं हो पाएगा, है ना. कर लो all fun. देखो all fun करके भी देखा हुआ है, all fun में एक टाइम के बाद फन का मजा खत्म हो जाता है. You stop having fun. ठीक है, you start saying कि भाई मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ अपनी लाइफ में. ठीक है, that's the deal.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I want to ask that if we want to pursue internships under you, then what will be the procedure?
No, yaar, I'm not an independent lawyer that I have a separate office. But I do take independent cases, but I'm still working on a stopgap basis with several offices and a full-time basis with Mr. Devesh Panda. Okay, he is a senior standing counsel in the income tax department in the High Court, and so if you want to intern at a good place, you can contact me. I can help you get a good place to intern. Okay, I have my seniors, of course. मेरे friends के खुद के offices नहीं हैं अभी. I'm 3 years only in this profession. 3 years is nothing. So, but I can of course request some of my seniors to accommodate for internships. ऐसी कोई उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं. Of course, if you are willing to learn and everything. और हाँ, I'm not saying मैं बहुत हाई-फाई internships दिलाऊंगा, ठीक है, लेकिन हाँ सीखने को मिल जाएगा. अच्छी जगह होगी, ऑफिस अच्छा ऑफिस होगा और सीखने को मिल जाएगा.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, अच्छा, और कोई भी query हो, you can message me. That's not an issue. ठीक है, absolutely not an issue. Sir, I have my Moot in college. Problem is on defamation. Moot का specific query है, you can drop me an email as well. अगर better रहेगा, अगर Moot का query है तो email कर दो. ठीक है, मैं अपनी email ID भी दे देता हूँ आपको. LinkedIn के बारे में exactly क्या बताना है मैं समझ नहीं पाया.
Good evening, sir. Hello.
हाँ बताइए.
Yes, sir. Good evening once again. My question to you, I'm a student at ILS Law College, Pune, and my question to you was that how does one find out that he's good? He's a good fit to be a litigator, or he's a good fit to be a criminal lawyer? Or how does one explore all these different areas of law, and how does one think that one should specialize in this or that? That is my question to you. Thank you.
अगर if you have to find out कि whether you are a good fit for a particular domain of law, the only thing you can do is try and explore each and every different type of case, actual case internships में. Tell me, trust me, internships में जो भी आप case करते हो, that will be not even the tip of the iceberg of what actual law practice entails, but still it is very important. Internships are also very important. Never underestimate the importance of internships. When you will actually litigate and everything, when you join, of course, that's the biggest choice you have to make. If you want to enter into criminal litigation, join a criminal law practitioner. Of course, I love criminal litigation. मुझे पसंद है criminal litigation because of the very domain of law, forensics and stuff like that. Also interested in that, but that's not the only field I'm interested in. While understanding whether you should join a field or not, or knowing that field, दो फैक्टर्स इंपॉर्टेंट हैं. एक आपका इंटरेस्ट, दूसरा कॉम्पिटेंस. कॉम्पिटेंस आपको थर्ड पार्टी बता देगा. आपके सीनियर्स और वेल विशर्स समझ जाएंगे कि नहीं बॉस ये आता है, इसको ये अच्छा काम करता है. ये खुद आपको समझ में आएगा. ये मतलब आई कैनॉट, मतलब आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू कि यू विल हैव टू थ्रो योरसेल्फ इनटू द पूल एंड देन लर्न हाउ टू स्विम.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. That was a wonderful, wonderful session conducted by Ojaswa. And I hope that you found this session very interactive, engaging, informative, actually everything. And Ojaswa actually spent more than almost 2 hours. And we were supposed to end this session by 5, but it is already 5:50. Thank you so much for your time and your patience as well. So, guys, those all of you who are having doubts regarding internship, so I would like to let you know that tomorrow, that is on 6th, we are having a separate session for internships. So that will be, I hope that through that session, all your doubts will be get cleared regarding how to apply for internships, what kinds of internship should you do in your first year, and how to proceed further. So we have a separate session for that. So I hope you all will join, and you'll get the details soon on your email, most probably tomorrow morning. And thank you so much for joining today. And I hope you have learned a lot, because I personally learned a lot from this session. So you all may leave now. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really helpful.